Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to interact with you through this channel today. My name is Karim Taga. I'm leading the time practice within R30 Little. I'm with the company for 26 years. I had the pleasure to see a lot for the last decades in this industry, and a pleasure for me also to join the MVNO Nation Life. So I understand that the topic around MVNO has been around for a while. There are, like every year, new trends, new developments, and I think it's worth mentioning them. What I can see is that with the ups and downs of MVNO market, there is definitely something we can say they're here to stay. Why? Because there are a lot of disruption happening, and I think the specialized players and the retailer would have a lot of opportunity today to capitalize on the trends. I will be highlighting during the events some of these trends. So first of all, we see that the classical telecom operator are having a lot of constraint with regards to 5G deployment, fiber deployment, and certain players in every market have at least one that has a market share of 20 to 25. This is very difficult to justify the return of investment once you start to deploy 5G, and 5G will have to accommodate a lot of capacity in terms of spectrum, so you need to densify the network further. So many of them are now opening up the network more than before to maximize the asset they have, which is the spectrum and the network they have, and get as much as possible traffic and return for the investment. So many of them are optimizing their, let's say, deployment through network sharing deals. Others started to open up the network for MVNO. They started many years ago with much more advanced models, meaning eventually providing capacity managed service as well, end-to-end. And others are even going much further, thinking of building RANCOs, radio access network companies, where the sole, let's say, expectation is to maximize the return of the capital that is employed. So they are with one tenant or eventually more tenants. So we see there interesting development for the future. And of course, the FMC, fixed mobile convergence, is becoming a reality in most of the market. If you think of the number of cable, though, think of the US, for instance, that they are now going to fixed mobile convergence, whether it's Comcast, whether it's Cox or Charter, they all developed new, let's say, platform and relationship with incumbent operator to provide mobile service as well. We see as well now new retailer coming in, capitalizing on technology trends like eSIM. So it has never been as simple as today to provide a service to your customer with the highest customer experience through, let's say, an easy app that enables you to use any device that is enabled by the MVNO or the retail brand and activate your service. We see as well that there is a lot of spectrum now that is available in the US CBRS, but also in Europe. You just heard yesterday or today that actually the Switzerland has dedicated capacity to corporate and government entities. So spectrum in the C-band will be allocated to industry like it was in Germany and in the US before and other countries. That opens up new opportunities for specialized service provider who want to provide mobile private network and campus solution to customers. And last but not least, if you look at the technology development, and there are many others, of course, is a seamless capability of leveraging Wi-Fi, so you can offload your traffic to Wi-Fi infrastructures in the private or corporate environment and link it in a seamless environment with mobile cellular technology. So these are all trends that made, let's say, the potential of ease of use and accessibility to the service very high. Let me add the last two trends we should be talking about. We see that companies, corporates, I'm talking about MNOs right now, have a huge pressure with the retail channel to cater for all the segments. So one of the options for them is to get a retailer that would address specific needs of micro segments eventually. And with the very sophisticated MVNA platform they're able to support with one platform different needs at the lowest cost. So that is something I believe that is accelerating right now. We see also new business model coming from neutral host. We see that operators are basically hosting multiple players on one infrastructure. So altogether, that gives a new momentum, in my view, in the space of MVNOs, and you will have players who will consider this wholesale opportunity, partner with retailer as one of a growth platform, even if they get hit on the retail, but overall, they expect to overcompensate the wholesale revenues that will eventually be impacted overall by the retail. So eventually, the balance is positive, and this is why we see more and more players providing these new services. And I'm sure I will share with you much more. The conference is very interesting. You have practical experience, conceptual perspective, but also very pragmatic solutions that are on the market already. And it was never as easy as today to build a mobile operator, because most of the capability you may need to run that is already provided as a service. You have a lot of new companies backed by private equity who build digital platforms to support mobile services. In particular, if you are an MVNO, you can eventually buy these components, not invest in CapEx, but use them as a service. And I'm sure that we'll have lively discussion in the panels and in the presentation we'll have. Looking forward to see you, Valencia. See you soon.